Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gorax, and in this video I want to share my thoughts on Folktale with you. As you have seen before, I'm doing a little let's check out on Folktale, which you can get on Steam Early Access. But bear in mind, this is an alpha version, so everything you see is subject to change. If you want to see what this is all about, just check out my videos in the Let's Check Out section and make yourself a picture about it. But those are basically going to be my thoughts on the game so far. Basically, so far I like it. It's got some stumbling blocks which have to be overcome, especially in the tutorial, because the tutorial is their showcase of their product. And I believe they're focusing at the moment on their world editor, but maybe they should have done it the other way around, so people can actually play the tutorial in the full scale, and then work on the editor. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Exactly. So if you have watched my other videos, which acted like kind of like a walkthrough, you could already see where I had my problems. It's basically just where I needed to get some cash in order to recruit soldiers and all that stuff, but I'll get to that in a second. So let's start at the beginning. At the beginning you come in with the ship, and every other villager does the same. So it's not like the traditional strategy game where, you know, you click on the town center and create villagers. No, you actually gain more villagers once you've built some houses, you know, just to increase the population limit. And then ships are coming in and giving you some more villagers. Sometimes it's just females, sometimes just males, and sometimes a little mix. Yeah. Even with boats coming and bringing those villagers, the females are really useless. This is not something bad against the females, it's just in this game you cannot do anything with them. The only thing you can do is actually to assign them into the tavern as a barmaid or tavern owner, pretty much. Yeah, so as you could see in the videos I did before, I actually used them as cannon fodder because I couldn't use them for anything else and I was low on soldiers. Rightio, once you are on the island, the first thing you do is create a building. You're building the windmill. In the meantime, and why not place as you can see already, you have designated areas where those buildings are supposed to stand, which I personally don't like at all. I like to place the buildings wherever the heck I want, but I guess for the tutorial this is just something, it's just placeholders, you know, just to get your bearings what's going on. So yeah, I would like to see that you can place your buildings anywhere you want. I believe this is possible in the level editor, but I have to cover the level editor at some other stage because it seems pretty daunting. I had a look at it the other day, and it's really, yeah, I have to figure out how this editor actually works. Alright, the building menu is quite nice. You click on the designated building area and you have a circle menu that opens up with all the possible building options. And once you put down, for example, the windmill, the sub menu opens up where you can put down the field, you know, for the crops. You can plant an area with cows for the milk and chicken stables. So once you placed the main building, a sub menu opens up and you have all the other buildings that are connected to the main building. So this is quite nice. There's no browsing through all different menus from different building styles like military or production buildings and stuff like this. So this is really nice. New building option. The building process is really done nicely. So I really like games where you can see how the building comes together. For example, like in Settlers 7, you could see the building was erected step by step. I really like watching this. And here in Folktale you have it as well. So yeah, big thumbs up for this. I really like that. And you also, once the building is finished, you actually see the maximum amount of people that can work in it. What I'm missing though is tooltips. For example, if you hover over the building, it shows what you can recruit in that building. Or maybe something better, when you select the building, a menu would be nice to see what the recruitment costs are for farmers or soldiers or bartenders, because money seems to be a big issue in the game, early in the game anyway. Yes, so missing tooltips would be a great addition. Well, not missing tooltips. Tooltips would be a great addition. And an actual overview on how many villagers and how many soldiers you have would be also cool. With all the resources you have, so why not put a overview on how many villagers and how many soldiers you have, so that you know, okay, I should recruit more before I go and, you know, take down this wall or something like this. The next thing are the resources, which I think are quite alright for now. They are basic resources. You have to collect wood with the wooders lodge and some wood cutters. You've got the stone piles, the stone cutters. You got the iron smelter and the iron ore mine. Of course, with the windmill, you also got your wheat, which is growing, which is being made into flour. And you also got milk from the cows, obviously, and eggs. I'm not quite sure what this is used for. Maybe the bakery does also do some cakes, or I don't know, some fancy breads. I'm not quite sure what it is used for. I have to read that up, but yeah, you got milk and eggs as well. It really looks cool. I mean, just look at the cows. They look really funny, and I personally love their love to detail from the Games Foundry. If you look at the chickens and the cows, they just look awesome and quite funny. And at the moment, the chickens are just walking on one spot. So this looks funny as well. Alright. In order to get resources, for example, for the woods, you actually have you also have areas where you have to go with your villagers in order to capture that area. So it kind of adds to the roleplay feeling, because you also have to go out into the woods and find trees you can cut down. So yeah, it's basically you have to find the resources, you know, capture the flag kind of thing. So those are the basics we have covered right now. Let's check out the fighting. The fighting so far, it's usable. I had quite a lot of difficulties, because sometimes, you know, you have all your units selected and you order them to go somewhere and they get deselected and attack random enemies. So I don't know, I didn't press any mouse buttons or anything like this, so they sometimes get deselected and they do whatever they want. So this was kind of weird. And they charge everything at sight. So I'm not sure if you can actually choose, you know, a defensive stance where they do not attack anything unless you order them to, because all those these action bars at the very next to their icon, next to their face, they're not working yet. As well as the abilities, they are not working. At least the abilities of the soldiers, I could not get them to work at all. But the knight that we found at the ogre mines, his first two abilities were working, which was the taunt and the shield bash, even though I didn't really see how that looked like. And for example, the healing of the monk or priest, the healing doesn't do anything. I tried to heal a couple of times and it didn't affect anyone, any hurt or injured soldier or woman around him. So it still says in the tooltip, you know, healing any allies within a range of, and then 0 meters, for example. So obviously it's still a work in progress, and there's no effects to it. You can't see, there's no graphical effects of when the healing is done. And what I also didn't like is the fact that we only have pikeneers. We do not have any archers, we don't have any horses, so we have no knights or you know, scouts or anything like this. We only have pikemen, which I find a little bit sad. As you can see, when you look at these soldiers and their icon bar down in the left corner, you can see their head and a number, which is their level. So by killing enemies, they actually gain experience and level up in rank. So this is quite cool, because the more levels they have, obviously, the better the abilities work, the more damage they put out, for example. Also, when an enemy falls in battle, they drop loot. This is gold and equipment and stuff, but unfortunately you cannot equip this loot onto anyone. At least for now it's not working in the tutorial. I could not equip swords or clothing or armor on the soldiers, on the knight, on the mage, not anything. I couldn't equip them. And also, once they reached another level, you can actually assign attributes. You can assign points to the attributes, which I find really interesting. So you can make soldiers that are uber strong, and a soldier that has a lot of endurance, which acts as a tank, for example. But for the moment, I could not assign any points to any of those attributes. So yeah. And also, what I would find really cool is if you have a bunch of soldiers selected. It would be really nice to see how many you have selected, or at least how many of what class you have selected. Because, you know, I'd like to just click in that overview if I want, for example, just a priest in order to quick heal. I mean, you could assign them to, you know, CTRL and 1, you know, you just press 1 and you have the priest. But yeah, I don't know how many soldiers, how many pikeneers I have. I always did count them manually, so that would be really cool. Alright guys, moving on to the controls, because as you could see, I'm flying over the island all the time. I did explain the controls in the very first video where I showed you the key bindings and all, but with these key bindings, you know, flying around the island, it doesn't really, it's not effective when you have larger maps. Because it's really slow. You could see I'm flying from my city over to the goblin camp. It took forever. It's somewhat annoying. And if you open the minimap, for example, you should be able to click somewhere in the minimap and insta travel there. That would be very helpful. So, or you could, you know, just click and drag the map towards you or away from you. So just like, you know, for example, like in black and white. You click the map and you hold it and drag it away and towards you. So yeah, that would be really cool. And unfortunately, for now in the tutorial, the tilt is not working either. But other than that, it really feels smooth and easy to control anyway, since you can fly around with the WASD and your arrow keys. So yeah, pretty basic, but it's working fine. Rightio, moving on to the gameplay and environment stuff. So, as you could see already in the other videos I did, oh my god, those cutscenes are so funny. I did laugh. I did a really lol myself. LOL myself. I think I have read somewhere that they actually hired a comedian to do the commentary, and this really paid out. I mean, those cutscenes are amazing. The commentaries are great, the humor is great. They also have nice music fitting to the actual area. I mean, you have a nice and calming music when you are in your village. You have dangerous and strong music when we were over this monastery with the wolves in there. So the music fits the ambiente that you are in at the moment. But unfortunately, there's no variety at the moment. I'm pretty sure they will do an update and have more music tracks in it. There's also a lot of love for detail. I mean, just look at the graphics. The water looks amazing. The trees have received a lot of love. I mean, if you look at some other games, the trees are just, you know, just a green stash of pixels. But here you actually have, you know, you can see the single leaves on the tree, so I really love the detail. And you actually can go inside of buildings as well, so you can check out what they have in the storehouse. You know, walk in there, you can see the little piles of iron ore, the wooden planks, and the milk cans. I mean, this is love to detail. This is what I'm talking about. When the evening comes around, you can see fireflies flying around the tree, and the flowers are blossoming. I mean, it looks really, really cool for an indie game. Also, the environment changes really smoothly. There's no problems, because sometimes you get hiccups, you know, when you change from a summer kind of environment into the a monastery, for example, where there is snow and snowflakes are flying down. Sometimes you get, you know, drops in frames per second, for example, but no, nothing happening here. So it's really smooth, and each villager actually has his own name. So I really like this, because it adds to the roleplay atmosphere. And as far as I know, I think the latest dev blog, number 20, actually explains or showcases their character editor, where you can, you know, customize or randomize your villagers, give them beards and give them different emotions or different haircut, different clothing. So this is going to be really great. I believe there's so much great stuff coming together once this game is ready. I mean, there's so many people with great ideas out there. So this is great for a sandbox. You have customizable buildings. You can upgrade them. You can put them wherever you want, and you have customizable villagers. I mean, just check out their video on what was it? blog.gamesfoundry.com. Let me just check that. You know, exactly, yeah. blog.gamesfoundry.com. There they have their latest dev blogs, and yeah, just check out their videos. They explain everything, why they're doing the development the way they are doing it, because they're focusing at the moment on the level editor and character editor, and they explain how the upgrades work, how the villagers work, and this is really important to look at. Also before you get the game. So yeah, those are my thoughts so far. I think for an alpha, everything seems to be really, really promising. But what I reckon is that they should get everything, every little update they implement on their level editor, they should turn it over into the tutorial, because most of the players or most of the people that download the game, they want to play the game. I don't think that many of them will actually look at the level editor itself, but only at the game. So, and the tutorial is behind. As you can see, the dev blogs, when you watch the dev blogs, it's actually far ahead of the tutorial. And I think this is really sad, because the tutorial is the showcase of their product. So they should implement everything they've worked on into the tutorial, and yeah, leave it and keep working at the editor. So I mean, if you're still unsure if to get the game or not, check out their website at www.gamesfoundry.com. You have a little background story, what's going on there. Check out their website and scroll down to the bottom. You find a link to their dev blog, which is blog.gamesfoundry.com. All the dev blogs are there. They are worth watching. I mean, they're showcasing, they show you every single little step what they are doing with the game, with the editor, and why they're doing it. They're explaining it in every detail. This is really great. I wish more developers would do that, because I feel I'm a part of the ongoing process of development, because I know what they're actually working on at the moment. So yeah, there's also a website on indiedatabase.com, but it's a little outdated, so I'd recommend to stick with the blog and the main page. And also check out their site on Twitter, and yeah, it would be cool if you actually leave them some comments on Twitter or even on the Steam page. and yeah, bring in your own opinions and what they could improve on. Just check out my other videos on the walkthrough of the tutorial, and if you have some ideas what could be improved, just leave me some comments in the comment section below, or even write me a personal message. And yeah, I think this is enough for now. Yeah, if you have, like I said, if you have any comments or if you have any other ideas, leave me a comment. Other than that, if you like the content I've created so far, leave me a subscription. It only takes a second. And yeah, my name is Gorax. Catch you next time. Whoa, and I was right. Boom.